Hey guys, impromptu video this week. I'm not even using my proper camera, which is why I don't know where to look because I'm using my phone. Oh, this is not sponsored by Stark Skincare. Well, I guess my whole life is sponsored by Stark Skincare. Everlasting's here because I was filming a video earlier about it. So this impromptu video is inspired by my friend Mercedes from L'amour et la musique. I was just watching my Instagram feed and she posted about Caroline Hirons, and I thought that that was very brave of her because the Hirons is kind of like, you know, the biggest beauty blogger, most respected, heavily followed blogger in our industry. She is like the go-to person when it comes to product recommendations and, you know, skincare advice and specifically product advice though. I think if you're looking for information specifically on what to use, which products to use for certain skin conditions or whatever, that she's a good resource as opposed to just talking about skin in a broader sense. And you know, in the past few years, if the Hirons mentions a brand, like she will literally make or break a brand. It's a little bit scary for me to even be talking about her, but let me just, if Caroline Hirons happens to watch this, which 0% chance, I really love her content. I've been watching it for a very long time. I follow all of her Insta stories. She's quite the character for sure. She's definitely someone I could see myself getting along well with in person. You know, I don't agree with everything she says, but like whatever, like who could we possibly agree with everything? And you know, her content is very specific, especially on Instagram, where she like goes through Hello Magazine and like makes fun of people and stuff like that. You know, it's a thing. It's a type of content for sure. But Mercedes was just like, you know, how come nobody ever questions her? And it's true that you don't see very much how can we say, like, critical thinking, or there's no backlash ever. I'm not saying that she's like deserving of any kind of backlash. She hasn't like caused any kind of, you know, drama in the industry or anything like that that I know of. She's really well loved by brand founders, but of course, I mean, like I said, she will make or break a brand. When she mentions a specific product, it gets to the point now where like she has to warn the company before she ever mentions them, because she's like caused servers to crash and, you know, massive like sellouts and major stock issues. So you know, like she's very heavily coveted in this industry, yeah, and just not really questioned, and that's really interesting, and it must be very strange to have that much power within an industry. And I don't know, I don't feel like there's very many figures like her in our beauty industry, or I can't really think of any other industry where there's someone like that. You know, she sort of like rose from the underground to become like the queen of brands and of skincare, and so obviously she's going to be working closer now with brands. You know, she gets paid to go on PR trips and these kinds of things, and of course she's paid to talk about brands, and so that is going to, of course, change the course of a blogger's content creation, right? So I mean, that's okay. It's really amazing that someone can take a passion like this. And I mean, it's always been her career, right? Because she was an esthetician, she's worked for different brands, she's been like a shop girl and that kind of thing. Like basically that's been her entire career. It's really cool that she was able to leverage her knowledge and just like her personality in this kind of way to become this. And I guess this is like sort of the modern problem now with influencers and whatnot. That the more you make it, the more your content is going to be, sorry, just a little pop-up here, is going to be skewed in one way or another, right? But I think it's important, you know, for us as consumers to always question the source. So whether that's a brand founder, hi, or a formulator, hi, or, you know, a chemist or a dermatologist or an esthetician or whatever, everyone is trying to, or a blogger, everyone's trying to position themselves as the expert, right? You have chemists, you know, talking about formulators not knowing what they're doing. I mean, like formulators like me who don't actually have like a chemistry, you know, a cosmetic chemistry background, or talking about, you know, founders not knowing what they're doing or just not being scientific enough. You have bloggers talking about, you know, chemists not being able to, and also brand founders talking about chemists not being imaginative enough and just, you know, just doing like the bare basics, just never pushing the envelope at all. You have dermatologists who, you know, will hate and demonize certain ingredients, but then have no problem prescribing other things that might just like melt your face off. And, you know, like you can look at any single angle and just see the pros and cons from every side, right? But like every expert is just trying to push their own like side of thing, their own practice and study as being like the thing to follow, you know, like estheticians, you know, I find like they can get really high and mighty too about like their knowledge and like their practice and like how much they touch skin and blah. As you guys know that it's like part of me would love to be an esthetician, but just all of that human touching just freaks me out. You never know. You never know. Maybe one day if I can like work on some things, but you know, and what it comes down to, and what my point is here, is that we live in a world where we are inundated by information, obviously. This has been a problem though since ancient Greece. So I don't know if you guys know this, but my husband and I, we pretty much follow the Stoic philosophy. That's kind of our religion in a way. Like if we were to have one, that would sort of be it. Our son is even named after a Stoic. And you guys know I'm horrible at quoting, but with Seneca, and a lot of our knowledge about the Stoics comes from Seneca because he would write these letters. So in letter 2, he wrote about the importance of sticking to a medicine. So, you know, he says that like if you keep on changing up the ointment, then you're never going to be healed. An ointment can only work when it's used consistently, or the same with, you know, reading too many books. You get so much more value out of your books if you reread the same 3 good quality books as opposed to like skimming 25 of them and not really getting anything from any one source. So I think that the best thing to do is when we're following these content creators, brands, whatever, that we see it as being information, inspiration, entertainment, that kind of thing. But when it comes down to it, the only expert there is when it comes to your skin is you. It's you. So it's really important not to become completely bogged down and inundated by all of these recommendations of like, this is the product everyone needs and this is like the must have and you have to buy P50 and you have to buy this, you know. It's crazy making. It's too much stuff. And it's not good for your skin. So it's much better to not use anything on your skin for a few days and to get in touch with what it really needs and then do some research with already that bias that you have, knowing what you need, as opposed to watching someone else's content and then being swayed to need that thing because it was awesome for them or because it's like the new hot product, you know? It's better for your wallet, it's better for like your clutter situation, and it's better for your skin. So yeah, so just keep in mind that you are your own expert, and whenever you, and I don't think that this isn't a very scientific way of doing things, but I think that this works much better when it comes to you and your own skin and listening to your own skin, to have that bias whenever you are looking for and gathering information. So if you know that your skin is dehydrated, you know, laser in on finding someone who has similar skin to yours and what has helped them address their dehydration, or just to talk one-on-one with someone who understands skin really well, as opposed to going out, buying 7 different products, using them all, and then just like not knowing what worked, switching it up constantly. That's consistency is really, really important when it comes to your skin. So that's sort of all I wanted to say, is just, you know, stick to the same medicine, be consistent, be gentle, not to become inundated with listening to everyone's opinion and everyone's, you know, everyone else's favorites or whatever, that you are your own expert. So take the power back. Bye.